So this is our book talk or book chat for our end of April book.
Yeah.
Which is Hounded by Kevin Hearne. The first in the Iron Druid Chronicles. Yeah.
Cover.
So thought I would just very quickly inch into the camera view and then read you the description from Goodreads, really. Atticus O'Sullivan, the last of the Druids, lives peacefully in Arizona, running an occult bookshop and shapeshifting in his spare time to hunt with his Irish wolfhound. His neighbors and customers think that this handsome, tattooed Irish dude is about 21 years old, when in actuality he's 21 centuries old. Not to mention, he draws his power from the earth, possesses a sharp wit, and wields an even sharper magical sword known as Fragarak, the Answerer. Unfortunately, a very angry Celtic god wants that sword, and now he's hounded Atticus for centuries, and he's hounded Atticus for centuries. Now the determined deity has tracked him down, and Atticus will need all his power, plus the help of the seductive goddess of death, his vampire, and werewolf team of attorneys. A bartender possessed by a Hindu witch, and some good old-fashioned luck of the Irish, to kick some Celtic ass and deliver himself from evil.
Yeah, let's kick some Celtic ass.
Is that different from other kinds of ass? Speaks Irish?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it speaks Celtic.
Yeah.
Old Irish. So yes. Yeah. So we read this book, so there will be spoilers.
Yes.
So if you haven't read this book, you should probably click out. We can reveal that we really liked it, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this book is really fast-paced. I read it basically in one sitting. So, and it drew you in. It was engaging.
Yes, very, very fast-paced. I listened to the audiobook and it lasted for about 8 hours. Felt like maybe 4. And I think I heard it in like 3 listens because I was just so into it.
Yeah. The one thing that I had a problem with, I chose to read the ebook, is that Irish pronunciation is not my strong suit. So that was a bit of an issue.
Yeah, I did not know this was an issue because I was just listening to the audiobook, so just names. Although some of them did not make sense, but mostly it sounded normal.
The names probably sound normal, but they're not written normal, so there's a disconnect between what I see on the page and what I would have pronounced it like.
Yeah. Not exactly updated spelling there.
No.
But that is English language in general has that issue. It's not just the Irish and Celtic stuff.
At least it's not Welsh.
This is obviously a sort of urban fantasy type book. I really like the sort of setting of like just this guy running his sort of occult store in Arizona.
Yeah,
I believe an old Irish druid.
Yeah, he brewed tea for people. So humility was for the sorority girls that had a stalker they wanted to humiliate in bed.
Yeah, I kept picturing, like, you know, the yogi teas?
Yeah.
With the little wisdom words on the tea label thingy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept picturing you could do that. Super mushy, weird teas.
I thought you should work for Adagio. They have Ingenuity, tea brewer and all that. They would like his punniness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very funny book. He has a very witty character and it's funny. Yeah. Kevin Hearne writes funny.
Yeah, he manages to balance the heavy parts of the story with a lot of humor.
Yes. And also it's a very light book, even though there is a lot of there's a lot of old Celtic gods traipsing around. So a lot of characters actually. It's heavy with characters, and they're all distinct enough from each other that they're good to have.
Yeah, they don't get warbled together to this mush up just too many characters to wrap your head around. There is a lot of character, but you can distinguish them from each other, so you can keep it straight in your head with no problem.
Yeah. Should we talk about them?
Yeah.
So of course the main character is Atticus, and like we said, he's a witty druid. Yeah. Who basically wants to be left alone, but he's tired of running from his
arch nemesis.
Well, accidental enemy.
Yeah.
He just because of something I did, the sword that he acquired, Fragora.
Yeah.
I think that's the name of the sword, and he sort of took from a guy who thinks he owns it, even though the ownership of that thing depends on who you ask, I think. So that's Angus Og, and he's sort of after him, and he's just been sending his minions for years now, or centuries, I think, after Atticus, and but now he decides to show up himself, and there's drama.
Yeah.
Essentially, there's a lot of gods, and then we have and sort of
the Morrigan, that Celtic goddess is there quite a lot. Atticus has a deal with her, so
yes,
that complicates matters somewhat for Angus Og.
Yes, and the gods here, you can never really trust them or rely on them for anything. You just sort of have to deal with them. They seem like an annoyance rather than more than anything else, really.
Yeah. Also, I like that this is a book about Celtic gods, but all gods are real in this book.
Yes, just a typical sort of urban fantasy thing, but this focuses heavily on the Celtic gods, which is nice. It's not everything at once.
It's just like casually mentioned that yes, they do exist too.
Yes. So it's really this. So Angus Og wants the sword from Atticus, and Atticus doesn't want to give it to him. It's sort of the whole plot of this summed up.
Yeah.
Obviously, there is fighting.
Angus Og wants the sword to, I don't know, become like king of Hearne and Og.
Yeah, something.
It's like a power struggle between the gods, and he wants the sword to tip things in his favor.
Yes. And Atticus, he has to kill a lot of non-humans mostly.
Yeah.
And in that one of my favorite characters, the widow McDonough, lives on the road. She's fantastic.
She was my favorite too. He kills this god called Bress outside of her door with a sword, and she gets upset. And then he says, "Well, he was British. Oh well, then, lad, you can bury him in my backyard."
Yeah, I love that, and like, she takes everything in stride as well. There are werewolves in this book. They're actually Atticus's lawyers.
Yeah.
Well, some of them are, not all of the werewolves, but like they run a lawyer firm, and they shift in her yard, I think.
Yeah.
And she's just like, "Oh, what is this?" And then everything
is
fine.
Starts to shoot them away.
Yeah, she's like,
shushes werewolves.
Yeah. So yeah, she's really cool. Also the dog, Oberon, the Irish wolfhound.
Yeah.
Atticus has created like a link between them and taught Oberon to speak.
Yeah.
Speak.
Yeah.
And that's funny.
Yeah, the dog has some pretty witty cultural puns he comes with, and the dog really wants to be Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
And have a date with a French poodle.
Yeah. No, he's hilarious. This book is it's the right amount of very funny and sort of fast-paced action plot, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And you can never trust anyone, really.
The lawyers are pretty reliable.
Yes.
He has a vampire lawyer and a werewolf lawyer that is pretty helpful sidekicks.
Yes. And he trades his blood for sparring lessons or sparring practice with the vampire because he's a Viking named Leif Helgarsson, and he's the only one who's good enough at like sword fights. So yes, a pint of blood for your time, you know?
Yeah.
I like it. There are witches. Witches are also super unreliable creatures.
They're
in this
like
book.
extra unreliable in this book.
Yeah, and in when he meets the not possessed, the timeshare
the
barmaid,
barmaid.
who has a Hindu witch in her brain, she ends up she ends up being the very pretty apprentice potentially.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. So she's probably gonna come back. There's like 8 books we figured out in this series, so
Yes.
I'm definitely gonna continue on with it.
Yes, same. I really, really enjoyed this. I think I gave it 4-star on Goodreads.
I gave it 5,
Yeah.
but I'm not as strict with my 5-star ratings as she is.
If I give them out, it's by accident. I swear. Are we actually done now?
I think so. Well, the book we're gonna read next month is House of Small Shadows by Adam Neville. It's a horror book, so it's my month to choose now. Yes. So I went with horror. Urban fantasy is like her thing, and then there's horror, that's my thing.
Yeah. It's good that we have different favorites.
Here's the cover of our next book, our next read.
I haven't read horror in forever, so I'm excited about this. If you're interested, you could join our Goodreads group, which I'm sure once we have finished the live stream, we will add down below a URL to. But it's The Cat's Tale, so you can search it up on Goodreads as well.
Yeah.
Where we have planned a few books ahead right now, so you can get on.
There's also a link to our blog, which has some written reviews and challenges and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I think that's about it.
We will see you later this month or early May, probably.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.